Top of the morning to you, wherever you're watching us from, and you're welcome to Dominion Television, your channel of choice. This is Dominion Sport. I'm Paul Abe Toluwanimi, and this wonderful morning we'll be taking this dive straight into the world of sport from the local front, where defending champions Remo Stars picked up all 3 points at the MK Abiola Stadium, defeating Kano Pillars 1-0. Also, we'll be taking a dive at the CAF Award, and Ayimba released a press statement concerning the report of half a salary payment to the players. All this and more on the show, and I'm not alone. I have the expert analyst himself, the man who will break down analysis bit by bit to proper understanding, the man with unbiased report and unbiased analysis. Samson Balogun is the name, but we call him official captain. Good morning to you, Samson. How are you feeling this wonderful morning?
Well, good morning to you, Toluwanimi. It's very nice to be here to talk about trending stories around the world about to be brought to the fore, and most definitely, Remo Stars were able to grind out a hard-fought victory yesterday over Kano Pillars. 1-0 it ended, but of course, the maximum 3 points for Remo Stars. That should be a morale booster they need at this time, and that should spur them on for further victories coming on in the season.
I want to ask you, yesterday, it looks like you were in Rabat yesterday, Morocco. I'm sure you were watching. You watched all the videos, from, Morocco yesterday. For you, what was more exciting for you? What do we do better, to give the CAF Award more credibility, with what you saw yesterday?
I think one of the things you must all consider is that there should be prompt rotation of the award nights. Should not be Morocco. There was a time, you see, Africa sold itself, sold its soul to some of these countries. You could remember there was a time it was Cameroon. Then Issa Hayatou was, president for CAF, and it was always in Cameroon that all these awards were being held at their time, and then they always had an edge over every other country, and then they moved to South Africa. And after that, this competition hosted by South Africa, the other one hosted by South Africa. Now the wave and the trend has shifted to Morocco. Now it's Morocco. Every competition is being hosted by Morocco. And you cannot really fault anybody if Morocco benefits from any of this. If they, through the back door, through any other means, get to win some awards that they really, you would feel, someone else would have been better if they won it. But then, it's always like that. You might want to talk about all these awards too, and the credibility and what we have to do going forward. I think one of the most important things is that we should have a clear-cut prerequisite. Yeah, come on. What must you have done during the course of 1 year to be considered, an award winner. One year you are talking about how many goals scored, the other one you are talking about the number of trophies won, and the next one you are talking about individual performance, and the other one you are talking about contribution to the team. So it's no longer clear. And these are the reasons why some of the players who don't play forward positions will always be disenfranchised as regards winning awards. You can remember the only time in a long time where a player who's actually not a striker nor a midfielder won the World Footballer of the Year was when Fabio Cannavaro won it. I mean, you could have, sworn that would not happen even at the time until the rules changed. And then they told us, he played 7 games in the World Cup. He did not commit a single foul. He did not get a yellow card. So based on fair play, Cannavaro is winning it. Yes, he won some trophies with his team. See, there has to be a clear-cut measurement.
Yes,
and yardstick, a
benchmark that we must work with,
and remains. And it has to be standard. It doesn't change from year to year. So I think we are finding it difficult to define the identity of what the best in Africa or the world is, and that should change. It's been really difficult maintaining that. We have seen situations where strikers will do so well. How about goalkeepers that are doing so well, match in, match out? Look at, there was a time Benjamin Mendy was with Chelsea. Judging by performance at Chelsea at the time for Senegal, I, for one, would have pushed him to be an African Footballer of the Year. He won out of the blue, he came to Chelsea, won the UEFA Champions League with the team, won so many other trophies before he left. So that tells you how consistent he was and the contribution he brought to the Chelsea team. While, and even Senegal at the time, because Senegal, the power has not shifted, to Morocco like we are seeing now. It was Senegal dominating age grade football, and even the national team, Aliou Cissé was in charge at that time. So we knew what they were bringing to the table. Why not push Benjamin Mendy that time to say he's the Footballer of the Year? So if Shebak, who had little or no go contribution for our team, Al Hilal, and then one team in Morocco like that, from where to where? I mean, that's for me is the height of robbery you would see anywhere. For Rasheedat Ajibade to be disenfranchised, I think that is really disheartening. And even before Rasheedat Ajibade, Esther Okoronkwo was even way better than the two of them in terms of statistics, what she did for our club, and also being an instrumental player as Nigeria won the WAFCON. So I was not expect them to shave her out. Look at the other lady on the... She was just there. I mean, the start was just dry. So what was she doing there, for crying out loud? But the point is, CAF will always surprise you. They perform magic. I mean, you see, I'm not really disappointed by what happened, because as much as we want to talk about it, this is not racism, because we are all blacks, we are Africans. It's not racism, but unfortunately, CAF has lost the identity, and this started with the agenda when Issa Hayatou, was in charge, and unfortunately, Issa Hayatou was crowned by a Nigerian. It was MKO Abiola that facilitated his arrangement to become the CAF president. Unfortunately, Nigeria has to bear the brunt. Look at how J.J. Okocha was, disenfranchised. He could not win the African Footballer of the Year. As big as he was as a player, that's still one accolade that eludes him as a player. Juan Kokwan was able to win it, and so many other players like that. But then, what happened to J.J. Okocha? It was an agenda. It was that era that you were having the likes of Mboma and Bami in Cameroon, and they were all coming out to scoop their own fair share of awards, and J.J. Okocha was just there. Whatever it is he did at that time did not count or did not matter to CAF. Now we're having a different agenda now, and it's the Morocco agenda, and someone really has to stop it. I'm not saying those players did not do well for their national teams, but what other backup do you, aside from what you did for the national team? Shebak scored against Nigeria, and that goal was nullified by the Nigerian team as we eventually went ahead to win. But unfortunately, Esther Okoronkwo was removed. That for me, she deserves to be in the top three. She deserves to be there. Because if you look at Madani, she does not warrant a place in the top three, and she's there. And then Rasheedat Ajibade was pushed to one side just because Shebak was to win. Now, if you put them side by side, at club level, Ajibade was way better. Was playing for a bigger club, Atletico Madrid at that time, and now she has moved to Paris. So that tells you how big she was when it comes to coefficient for qualification of a team on the UEFA ranking and the world ranking. I think you put a team playing in Europe ahead of any team playing in Asia or anywhere. She was playing at home and then now moved to Al Hilal. On what basis are you judging our league? And then what was the goal contribution for our league? I think it was our goal assist ratio was less than 10. So that tells you how poor the start was. And I feel like going forward we should make some changes to how we decide who wins the best player on our planet, because it will be ridiculous to pick the weakest of us and say this is the best.
Come on, I agree. All right, we'll be definitely talking about that on the show this wonderful morning. Just wanted to give you a tidbit of what to expect on the show from the CAF Award that went down yesterday in Rabat, Morocco. But quickly, let's take a dive straight into the camp of Remo Stars, as Remo Stars defeat Kano Pillars to exit a relegation zone. In the rescheduled Nigeria Premier League football match, day 5 at the MK Abiola Stadium in Abeokuta on Wednesday, Remo Stars claimed a 1 victory against the Kano Pillars. Victor Mbauma has scored a decisive goal, allowing the defending champions to rise to 15th place with 16 points and escaping the relegation zone. Kano Pillars, despite eating the woodwork and late substitution, stayed at the bottom with 6 points after 13 winless game. That's the update. Samson Balogun, 13 winless game for Kano Pillars at this point in time. It is crumbling already, and we sit here every day, to say, Ahmed Musa, you rather pack the balls, or the players, take out the age team, the system you're working with is not working at this point in time. But they did not pick up the victory, not even in draw, and it's 13 winless game for Kano Pillars. Let's start with Kano Pillars' situation right now, and I'm just hoping that maybe certain Ahmed Musa would need to watch whatever it is you need to say right now. Maybe that can spur them to life again this season.
You see, in this whole crisis with Kano Pillars, I think one person that has been so silent about the situation is Ahmed Musa. He understands that let your workings show workings instead of church, like they will say on the streets. So it's way better when your achievements speak for you and not you doing the talking by yourself. Unfortunately, it hasn't really shown, and he has maintained a little bit of silence as regards to the current situation. He knows where the problem is coming from. He might not necessarily know how to tackle it as it stands, but he's seen it. It's obvious they have a problem. I mean, there is a framework that I follow at all times. You take notes, you take charge, and you take care. There's the triple T and the basic fundamental rules of how to sort problems.
You take charge.
You take charge, and then you take care. You see, you must first of all understand the fact that there's a crisis, there's a problem. Okay, we know we have a problem. Then you take charge. Now that you know what the problem is, you be in charge of the problem. How do we solve this? That time you are finding solution. The moment you find a solution, you take care of it, and you realize what the problem is. I don't know what stage they are right now in the camp of Kano Pillars, but I do feel like they are still trying to troubleshoot and see where the problem is coming from, because otherwise, I think some necessary changes would have been made at this time. Gambo Mohamed is still in charge. For me, he's not a proven coach. I mean, you cannot continue to do the same thing the same way and expect a different result. There's this you are saying, the Nigerian elders will say that if you throw a knife, if you throw it up 1,000 times, it will lie flat. I mean, that's just the basic rule. So nothing different will come out as a result. So I feel like, in as much as I'm lost when it comes to what stage they are at Kano Pillars. Do they even know there's a problem?
Yeah, that's the question.
Are they finding solutions to it? If at all they know there's a problem, when will they be able to solve the problem? That's another question. And unfortunately, 5 games from here, it will be over for Kano Pillars. They will not be able to find a way out of this mess they have found themselves. Because the more they keep losing, 13 games now, no victory. The more they keep losing, the wider the gap between teams ahead of them and teams behind them. Unfortunately, they have no team behind them, so they are on 6 points, stuck on 6 points. Would have been 9 points, where they were docked 3 points due to the crisis they had when they played Shooting Stars. So I feel like if you see 6 points right now, I think the next person had 10 points until Remo Stars got a victory yesterday.
If you can have the table,
that's 13 points. Yeah. The gap is getting wider and wider. And the first thing you first do, as a team that wants to leave relegation zone, is to first of all get closer to the team nearest to you. And that's Bendel Insurance on 12 points. Double the points Kano Pillars currently have. So they have to win their next 3 games to meet up with Bendel Insurance. Will they be able to do that? I don't think so. And then after you have met up with the nearest team on 19th position, you want to climb out of the relegation zone, and Plateau United is currently on 15 points. So 15 points, that means you need additional 9 points. So you have a lot to do to move. Yes, the beauty of it is that the distance between these two teams, all the teams on the log, is not too wide. Some of them are just 2-3 points, and a victory or a draw or a loss in your next game might just mean that you are dropping from your current position. Look at 13 games played by Ikorodu City and Nasarawa United. They are both on 24 points. But Rivers United has a game in hand, and they are on 23 points with a LD goal margin. So if they win that particular one in their next outstanding game, that puts them on 26 points. So they don't even need to talk about goals before they move straight to number 1 on the log and leapfrog Ikorodu City and Nasarawa United. Don't forget, Abia Warriors is also knocking.
Yeah.
So these are teams that are right there and they are willing to do whatever it takes to stay at the top of the table. But unfortunately, this is the situation they have found themselves. I think Kano Pillars, they are on the wrong side of happenings in the league as we speak. For Remo Stars, we had the calculation and I said, look, Remo Stars still, anytime from now, they can find a way out of it.
Yeah, you said
if they win their last game,
Yeah.
their next game now, which is an outstanding game, that puts them on 19 points and they are moving straight
already
to 7th position.
for a team that we saw struggling already.
That's the point. So it's really close, and no team is even guaranteed of a victory at home or away. Yes, you might say the MPFL has been built in such a way that every team thinks once they play at home, they must win. And that is why you see them going through all sorts of means to see that sometimes they put the referee in a tight situation. Sometimes the match commissioners are in trouble, and sometimes they resort to violence to see that at least they get something out of a game. Football is not a do or die affair. It is your job, your workings on the field that will determine how far you go, especially where you are placed or ranked on the league table. The problem with the Nigerian league did not start today, it started a long time ago. And that is because state governments are actively involved in what we practice as sports. So every state thinks they can just come in their money bags, so they can come in and then find themselves where they were not, they have not been close to in the last 2-3 years. And we cannot continue to run a league like we are running civil service. They are two different things. This is a game of sports. We have seen situations where, if you look at the English Premier League table, all the teams on the EPL, how many of those teams you have in the English Premier League belong to a county in the UK or a particular place that they will say, oh, it belongs to the government? No. They understand that what the government has to do is to provide an enabling environment for all businesses to thrive, including sports. So they provide security, they provide an enabling environment like a place where you can build your facilities, and then they give you an economy that thrives. I mean, when businesses are surviving in a country, they then think of what to sponsor. So if businesses are struggling, you cannot sponsor a thing because you are even struggling to balance up. So it will be difficult. So the UK government prepared that. There's an enabling environment, and football and other sports, they are thriving, and that's why they are getting huge sum of money as return. So if you take sport away from the UK economy, they are in trouble because it is built around sports. You go for tourism. People from Wales, Scotland, Portugal, or any other place, even from Nigeria, you see Nigerians going on weekends to see an English football game. They are paying the UK economy. Why can't we bring people who can pay into our own economy too? You can imagine if Ibadan, for example, is to host a game between Chelsea Football Club and Shooting Star Sports Club in Ibadan. You know how many people will come in. Let me cite an instance. It was just a trial session, and Ose Morio came to Ilorin with a particular brand of soft drink, which I don't want to mention the name. You have to see how the stadium was packed, full to the brim, because they wanted to see Ose Morio. That's the beauty of the game. We lack branding, especially it happens. This is not just football. It happens to every other industry. You see, there are people who call the faces of the business. You have to make deliberate attempts to brand them. Unfortunately, coaches in Nigeria are being seen as rags. Nobody cares about them. In fact, when they tell a coach you have been stepped aside, he doesn't even know his fate. He doesn't know if he can take a job somewhere else or he's still stuck with you. So it's a crisis. If you are disengaging or disembarking on a journey with a coach, just tell him, hey, your contract ends here. Unfortunately, some of them don't even have contracts. They had verbal agreements. So I'm coming, don't worry. Oh, you are giving me 250K every month. Okay, I'm coming, no problem.
It's just WhatsApp message.
So why won't they tell him that you have been stepped aside? But if there was a contract legally backed and the MPFL also has a copy of the deal, I mean, you cannot owe a player. How do you tell a player that, oh, you earned 300,000 last month and because you are not doing well, you are earning 150,000 this month? Does it make sense? He has a contract with you. I mean, which has a legal backing. But unfortunately, these players are also brought in that know someone. So they are through the back door. They got into the team.
Everybody's definitely getting a cut from that payment.
So when they say a player earns 1 million naira, I laugh because that 1 million naira might eventually end up to be 500,000 naira or less in some cases. I said it yesterday, and I still make it's a bold claim that I know some players that once spoke to me and said, "Look, in our team, a certain percentage of our money goes back to the coach." I was talking to Ijoba Sports, I think that was a few days ago. We were talking about a particular team where some player, as low as a graphic designer in the team, some people take kickback from his salary. A graphic designer for the team. So in the media team, so there is a crisis. When something happened in the battle a few months ago, and then a particular young guy who was saddled with a responsibility was being dragged by some people, I said, "Look, you are just dragging this boy. He knows absolutely nothing about what you are talking about. He was unpicked by someone, and he cannot do anything that goes against that person's interest. So he's more or less like he's in the middle. He's caught in the middle. He's sitting on the fence. He wants to be a part of the association. At the same time, this is where his salary is being paid. As long as you don't pay his salary, you don't expect 100% loyalty from him. So it's just wisdom. So everyone plays wisdom, and then the system will destroy the system. But the truth of the matter is, if you are to move forward, like we are saying about some teams in the MPFL, they have to understand what the problem is. And if they don't know the problem, then they will continue to go the way they are going. 6 points, I think the worst is yet to come for Kano Pillars.
Come on. Honestly speaking, I think that's just the best word, for Ahmed Musa and the boys are listening to us right now. Because if you don't understand the problem, and if you can't get the 3 T's right, you can solve the issue at the ground for the team called Kano Pillars. We hope for the very best because they're a big household name right there in the MPFL. Let's move away from that. Let's talk about the people elephant of Aba Enyimba Football Club as they release a press statement concerning the slashing of player salary by 50%. Yesterday, we gave an update on the show that a certain player went to a media outlet to say that Enyimba Football Club are slashing player salary. And just yesterday, they had to make a statement saying the attention of Enyimba Football Club has been drawn to a misleading report currently circulating, alleging that the club has slashed the salaries of the player by 50% following the home defeat to Wiki Tourist FC. Enyimba wishes to categorically state that at no time did the management approve or initiate or implement any salary reduction. The club remains fully committed to maintaining the highest standard of professionalism and its relationship with players and staff. The report is purely a figment of the writer's imagination and should be disregarded by the general public. As a professional club, Enyimba FC communicate all official decisions and updates exclusively through its verified channel. The club expresses concern that such false information, and stated from a supposedly reputably media organization personnel without attempt to verify the claims from the club. And the Enyimba FC is also saying we uphold the long-standing mutual respect with the media, remain focused on returning to winning ways. We will continue to work closely with the media partners to highlight our activeness and contribution to the advancement of the MPFL and football development. Something Balogun, there you have it. Enyimba have said, nothing of such happened. We are not slashing player salary. Those reports were false yesterday, and this is what the statement is. For you, what side are you leaning on at this point in time?
You see, if there is no fire, there is no smoke.
I agree.
And for every lie out there, there's an iota of truth. So there is a modicum of truth in every lie you see, and you get to hear out there. The question I want to ask is, between the time frame they played in the last game against Wiki and now, have they received any salary? The answer is no. So it means that it has not been done. It has not been activated. But somehow, probably someone went to the players and said, look, for the fact that this happened, you are on you are on half salary. And then because the news leaked, and someone has come out to say, look, it's not happening, we are not doing this, we are not doing that. I want to believe that it is because it has not been activated that there was a gap which they were able to plug in to deny this allegation, which is fine. At least they have come out to deny it. Definitely it's never going to happen. Because if it does happen, we're going to get more stories. And of course, that will substantiate the fact that the particular player spoke to a media
house. Right about it.
See, the challenge is nobody would create a story that is non-existent. They can either over-report or under-report a story. That's what I think. So the player heard it, must have heard them say it, and then believes like, have salary, okay, and then spoke to one person. So the news circulated and got viral that they felt like we cannot go ahead with this kind of instruction or with this kind of deal, and then let's just pull out. That's what I see in this place. But then, thanks to Yimba Football Club of Aba, and thanks to the chairman of the club, Nwankwo Kanu, at least you now know the right thing to do. I don't think any player deserves to run helter-skelter on the field of play, and then after the month end, you give them half of their salary. It is not done anywhere. It should never be done. And if a player offends the team, there is a rule book that says this is the amount of money you'll be fined for doing this or doing that. And I think that is where you should visit, rather than disenfranchise them and take part of their money away just because you did the wrong thing in the first place. Why sack 22 players? Why must you recruit 22 players at a go? And most definitely, did you recruit the right set of players? Are they the best in Nigeria when you recruited them? Because when you are recruiting players and you expect them to win the league, it must have been that you recruited the best players. You must have the best team in the league for you to say you want to win the best. You want to be the best. When Remo Stars were there last season and won the league, you see the quality of players they paraded. And even when they realized the fact that they will be playing on the continent and they needed more players, even though they lost some players like Ifeanyi Nnamena, they lost Bakayode Bankole and some other players, I think Sikiru Alimitu, all of them left, but they had to bring in Victor Mbauma, who some people call an upgrade on Sikiru Alimi. Kayode Bankole left and they had one in Obasa who was already being number one as at last season before he even left. So they knew what they wanted to do. Yes, they are struggling too. That you have the best team does not mean that you have the best players in the world does not mean you are going to win all the games. It's not like that. Football is, as long as the players have quality, the coach must also bring quality to the team, and then the management must also complement from the other hand, and the fans too must play their role. So there are so many things that contributed to the fall of Remo Stars, and that is happening to Yimba too. For Remo, they were not playing at home; they were playing in Djibouti. First of all, they lost about 50 to 60% of their fans because they are not playing at home. 2, they had to let go of some players. 3, they played on the continent which was alien to them. It's not like they have been doing it for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. So it's still a team in the embryo that is trying to evolve. Will they eventually get the stability we are expecting of a Yimba now? I think they can. But for Yimba, I think they fell off somehow. And they can easily get back there. Only if they bring the right coach on board. So, and also you recruit the right set of players. So if you want to be the best, you have the best in your corner.
All right. If you want to be the best, definitely you have the best in your corner. Let's move away from that and let's talk about the CAF Award yesterday. As one man from Paris Saint-Germain, Achraf Hakimi, picked up the award ahead of Mohamed Salah and Victor Osimhen. Fantastic one to see Achraf Hakimi pick up the award yesterday. I saw some videos and it just reminded me of the situation of where we are at this point in time with our awardees this year. A certain Moussa Dembele was injured and picked up the award. A certain Achraf Hakimi also, you needed to see actually the tied up on his leg and also the roller coaster he was moving with, and he picked up the award. But Samson Balogun, fantastic one to see Achraf Hakimi of Morocco and playing for Paris Saint-Germain pick up the Men Player of the Year award.
I think deservedly, just like I said it yesterday, he deserves it. I mean, it's his consistency for me. He's been on that podium before, and he could not win it. And now that he eventually got the chance, I think he's winning. One of the things that contributed to his winning was the fact that he did not just play an important role. He scored important goals for his team too, even while being a defender. And 2, not just for the team, he won so many trophies with the team, and also with the Moroccan national team. He's shown so well. He was a bright star in that team and a go-to man. In fact, he is one of the most respected players in Morocco right now as we speak. So he took the place of Hakim Ziyech of the past. So I want to believe that there is no shortcut here. He won it because it deserves to win it. And the fact that he maintained a level of consistency from the last time and also came back this time around way better than who he was the last time. I mean, that's just an upgrade on what performance he had 2 years ago and what he's currently having now. So, fantastic one. Achraf Hakimi, congratulations.
All right, let's look at other awardees yesterday. Morocco, let's see, for the CAF Women's Award, there we have it. We're discussing about that, this Monday you have it. Shabak picked up that award. I have a stat actually. Rashidat Ajibade, the WAFCON player of the tournament, she had 1 goal in WAFCON and 2 assists. For the club side, 8 goals, 3 assists in 25 appearances, and she won the WAFCON championship. Esther Okoronkwo for WAFCON, 2 goals, 6 assists, 11 club goals, 8 assists in 23 appearances. WAFCON championship, a Canadian regular season champion. Also for Shebak, she won the WAFCON Golden Boot, 5 goals, 0 assists. For our club side, 3 goals and 2 assists in 26 appearances. So how do we, you just said it, earlier on the show, saying I think it's high time we start to give award to those that deserve it, actually. But there you have it. She picked up that one for Morocco, and also she plays for Al Hilal.
Well, if you look at Shebak, I think Shebak is not a young player, as you would call it. She's over 30, and she's done this for a long time. Unfortunately, she just, I think it's just quite unfortunate that so many people feel there's an agenda against some players, especially Esther Okoronkwo, who visibly had better advantage over every player. One was instrumental at the WAFCON, 6 assists, a very big one at that, and also scored goals. For our team too in the Canadian League, she did so well, even won a trophy. And I want to believe that she was way better. She actually is way better in terms of statistics and the current form than any player, including Rashidat Ajibade, than any player in the top 3. Why is she not in the top 3? I think it was an agenda to knock her out of the system and then pick someone that, it will be a little bit difficult for you to debate. You can imagine Esther Okoronkwo in this team, and then you will now say Shebak has won just because she scored that many goals at the WAFCON. Is it now about goals now? That same tournament you are talking about, she lost it to Nigeria. So are you saying now there is no player good enough in the champions of Africa, in the team of the champions of Africa, good enough to win the Female Footballer of the Year? I think that was the biggest joke you will see anywhere. And CAF just made a ridicule of the award.
I agree.
They just made a ridicule of the award. And even before now, if it was Rashidat Ajibade that won it, people wouldn't have really said much. But the fact that Esther Okoronkwo made a statement the moment she realized she was not in the top three, and said, awards don't define me, I define awards. So it means that I really do not care. She knew that she was way better. I mean, there's a level of commitment, there's a level of hard work.
The other lady, we cannot even bring a start out because
there's nothing there. Don't even go there. That's Misani.
Yeah.
You see, the problem is that we forget there are people who always go through. CAF does not have to furnish us with statistics. We can always get this stat by ourselves. Yeah. So on what basis did you give Ghislaine Shebak the award? She scored, I think, 5 or 6 goals.
Yes, just 5 goals. Just 5 goals. That's 5 goals
at the WAFCON, and then they lost the tournament. Yeah. So that's the reason why she won. I mean, CAF should.
Maybe because you won the Golden Boot.
CAF is. No, okay. If you won the Golden Boot, someone was the best player of the tournament.
Yeah.
So the best player of the tournament is even better than the one who won.
So I'm even surprised that, to be very honest here, I saw the FIF Pro, our top 11, and none of our players made that list, and Shebak made the list.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
There's
funny. No player in the team of the
African champions that made the list.
That's why I say it's a joke. The same thing that won the national team of the year does not deserve no player. That's the joke you will see anywhere. I think CAF is a joke.
So okay, so now hold on something now, because you made a statement saying, we played ourselves into the hands of Morocco because they hosted, So are we saying that, because you are hosting and you are giving us credibility for as African that we need to be there, that gives you the leverage point to say, we pick up all the award? Because I remember there was a certain time where Victor Osimhen and Aizat Oshoala picked up the same award. Maybe they were looking to recreate that same system again. So now, if Nigeria wake up to next year and say, okay, I think we need to do something better, they start hosting competition, everything we have been saying to them, you know, that they should do things right, and now back in shape, boom. Even if we don't deserve it, because we are doing the right things now, we give it to players that don't deserve it. Is that what we are saying now for CAF?
You see, the problem is way beyond what we are seeing. I think the African agenda really needs to be addressed. Africa, for me, we have no identity. We don't even know. We are usually quick to gravitate towards what other people are doing and then leave what we know how to do. And that's a big problem. If you look at the award system, usually I tell people an examination is not the true test of knowledge. So that you passed an exam does not mean you are brilliant. And sometimes that you won an award does not mean you are the best amongst your peers. It's just that you can just imagine the joke of an award we have around the country right now, where the moment you are nominated, you are expected to pay a certain amount, and then some people have to vote for you. And when they vote for you, it's not just that they are voting. They are paying to vote for you. So it's the award system has been corrupted and has been turned to a joke. So if you now open the system to such, you open the floodgates of people to come in and vote, then you have created a system where it will be faulted at the end of the day. Take for example, if you look at the statistics of people who voted for this particular, it will come out. So FIFA do release, who voted from which country and why. It's always there. So you realize the fact that people who do more of the voting for Shebak will be from the North African part of the countries. And the agenda now will not be that some other South African countries like Zimbabwe, Tanzania, South Africa themselves, I think Malawi and some other countries, they will also gravitate towards that end. So it will be left with West African countries to now deal with this. I mean, how many votes will you cast? Among the West African countries too, you still see people that will vote for Ghislaine Shebak. So the problem lies in how the voting pattern goes. But the only way to get across it is we should open up the voting system. If the fans can also do the voting, you will see the difference.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just unfortunate that we have found ourselves in this situation, that only football stakeholders and people in the press can actually vote. Let's open it up to the fans too and see. Let's just try and say, by 2030, we want to make sure that every fan gets an opportunity to vote their favorite best player in the world or in Africa, and see what will happen. You will realize that the vote will tilt more towards who is the rightful person that deserves the award, and not just people. Some people feel like, let's just vote an agenda. Because when you have a limited number of people casting the vote, it is easy for you to push an agenda.
I agree.
But if there are too many people to vote, I mean, I don't know how someone will talk to me to vote for Ghislaine Shebak when I'm far away in Africa and Nigeria, and someone is in Morocco. How do you get across to me? And there are millions of some people like me in Africa that are still going to vote for the
reasonable millions. So yes, it's looking at the start and saying, come on.
It's a challenge.
I agree.
And I do feel like CAF has turned the female award system into a joke, like they did with the male award system years back.
All right, let's look at Chiamaka Nnadozie picking up an hat-trick of a Golden Glove. Fantastic one to see our Nigeria. Samson Balogun said definitely she had to pick up that one. Let's listen to Chiamaka just picking up the award and after that award ceremony.
And first of all, I just want to thank the Lord Almighty for bringing each and every one of us here safely. And also I want to say a big thank you to the organizers of this award, and a very big thank you to the CAF president, and of course to the Nigerian Football Federation. I just want to say a very big thank you for everything. To the Nigerian Football Federation president and to the General Secretary, thanks a lot for everything you've been doing. And to my teammates in the Super Falcons, thanks a lot for everything. Thanks for your support and encouragement, and I just want you to know that you're the best. Also, I want to say a very big thank you to Paris FC. They've been a huge pillar in my career, and they played a very huge role in my success. Thank you for everything. Thank you for making everything possible for me. And to my amazing club, Brighton Hove and Albion, Thank you for everything. Thank you for your support, your love, and encouragement. You guys are the best. And to all the coaches and to all the amazing people who has played a very big role in my life, I sincerely appreciate winning this award the third time in a row. It's a very big thing for me and my family. And
Women's Goalkeeper of the Year. It's been a great year for you. Nigeria won Women's AFCON. How much does it mean for you today?
This really means a lot to me. Winning it third time in a row is not really easy. It's a symbol of dedication, consistency, and hard work. And of course, thanks to my teammates who made this possible.
And I want you to give a message to all the young girls out there that want to be like you and win 3 awards in a row and lead the country so well.
Yeah, my advice to the young girls, no time is too late. Whatever you are doing, it doesn't matter the age. Keep working hard, keep doing the right thing. Always learn from your seniors and always listen to your coaches. Stay humble, pray hard, and everything will be fine.
Love it. Congratulations again.
All right, stay humble, stay hard, and make sure you listen to people ahead of you. Samson Balogun Chemakanandozie picking up the hat-trick of the Golden Glove at the CAF Award for you. Fantastic goalkeeper.
You see, as we envisaged and opined yesterday that who was going to win, I said it's
Yes, you did.
In Africa, as we speak, nobody comes close. Chiamaka Nnadozie is arguably the best goalkeeper, the female goalkeeper you would have in Africa that comes out of Africa right now. And she's not just doing it for Nigeria, she's been massive for her teams. And since she moved from France to England for Brighton and Wolves Albion, we have seen some massive saves from her. And on occasions, she has been, the only difference between a defeat and a draw for our team, Brighton and Wolves Albion. Sometimes they're preserving their lead to make sure at least they go with a victory in the game. So you cannot keep such a consistent performance and not be recognized, even though some did and they weren't recognized. But for her, it's too difficult to rob her of this particular award. It's just like you are saying, Yasin Bono will not win the best goalkeeper award, having done so well for Sevilla, and most definitely doing the same thing for Morocco,
Saudi too,
and then moving to Saudi Arabia. So I think the level of consistency herself and Yasin Bono maintained within the last 2 years this is a testament of how well they have performed and grown during that process. So it was just a matter of time before they called her name yesterday and said, "No, you have won another award." So in fact, it was obvious she knew she was going to win. So it's just a one-sided affair. Okay. So it was a no contest.
Yeah, no contest. All right, let's look at other awards as wrap up the show. There you have with Samson Balogun also saying yesterday, Nigeria picked up the women's team of the year award. Also, the men's young player Mama also picked up that one. Quickly, we can move as swift as possible. Also, the women's national team of the year, Team Nigeria picked up that award. Also, yesterday, more awards went down the line in Morocco. The men's national team of the year went down to Morocco under 20 because they did something fantastic for themselves right there at the World Cup. Also, let's move away from that quickly. More award, men's club of the year, Pyramids picked up that one. Fantastic football club right there picking up that award. Let's move away from that. Also, the men inter-club player of the year, Fiston Mayale. Here you have Yasin Bono also picking up that award. That is all we can take on the show this wonderful morning. Friday is going to be an exciting time because European football is back, and definitely we'll be talking about the Gunners because they have a big game in hand and other games to come. We'll be talking about that on the show. Also, the Serie A, the Spanish La Liga, the German Bundesliga, the French Ligue 1. We'll be talking about all this on the show. Also, the world of boxing, the world of UFC, the world of tennis, all this and more on the show tomorrow. So make sure you're locked in and make sure you keep watching Dominion Television because definitely it is a channel of choice. I am Paul Abe. I say a big thank you to Samson Balogun. Thank you for always coming and thank you for dropping your 2 cents on conversations every day on the show. We're going to see you again tomorrow to my producer and the crew. I say a big thank you. Stay safe, stay blessed, and bye for now.